Between barbs like Panauti and Murkho Ka Sardar, you can tell that the tension is building up in the final lap of elections 2023, the big semi-final before the 2024 general polls. I'm Barkha Dutt. You're with the Mojo story. Today, in the last lap, as Telangana and Rajasthan now await voting, you can tell that the stakes are high for the BJP and the Congress in particular. What happens in these elections may not directly impact how people vote in the general elections, but it has everything to do with morale of the cadre, as well as who can claim the leadership in particular of the opposition space. Rahul Gandhi has received an election commission notice for using the word Panauti for the Prime Minister after the World Cup defeat for India. The Prime Minister in turn has called Rahul Gandhi previously Murkho Ka Sardar. Of course, our campaign rallies have been filled with all kinds of barbs that often cross the threshold of civil discourse. But on this program today, we'll be looking at the politics. What's at stake? Whose campaign has gone how? What do the numbers suggest? But also, what are the implications of what happens in these 5 poll-bound states? Let's introduce our guests on the program today as we look at the politics of elections 2023. Tavleen Singh, trenchant and veteran columnist and author, is with us. Welcome to the program. Also joining us is senior journalist and columnist Madhavan Narayanan. Always a pleasure to have you with us, Madhavan. PKD Nambiar, columnist, analyst, usually a supporter of this government with some caveats. Sometimes is also with us. Also joining us is from the Congress party, advocate Mahima. Mahima ji, always a pleasure to have you with us. And also joining us from the BJP is its senior spokesperson and leader, Gopal Krishna Agarwal. Namaskar, Gopal ji, always a pleasure. For anyone who's been hiding under a rock, here's what Rahul Gandhi said immediately after India lost that World Cup final at a public rally for which he's now facing an election commission notice. Listen in.
याद है? हाँ क्या? पनौती वो अच्छा भला वहां पे हमारे लड़के वहां पे वर्ल्ड कप जीत जाते, वो वहां पे पनौती हरवा दिया। टीवी वाले ये नहीं कहेंगे, मगर जनता जानती।
Okay, that short comment has now been met with an election commission notice. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, of course, we'll also be playing out what the Prime Minister has said about Rahul Gandhi, and there have been many memes that the parties have exchanged about each other since then. This comment, although unnecessary, why does it deserve an election commission notice according to you? And please unmute yourself, Gopalji.
Why the notice is given by election commission, that is for the election commission to answer. I'm not a spokesperson of election commission, but I am a spokesperson of definitely Prime Minister Modi and Bharatiya Janata Party, and surely this statement hurts my feeling.
But so the BJP, the reason I asked you is that the BJP had approached the election commission before the notice was issued to complain.
Yeah, so definitely it has hurt. So we are approaching the media, we are approaching the public, we are approaching the election commission. We are doing everything because whatever hurts us. But why election commission has given a notice, it is for election commission to answer. That's what I'm telling. We are hurt with it, and we have whatever is our means to create. And the thing is, it may at least, but the consistent approach of Congress. But today also they have released one cartoon which you are also showing. Then Supriya Shene, the way she is talking, so that itself shows that the level of discourse that they want to come to is not acceptable to us, and we are hurt about it. That's the only thing that we want. We are not saying it will affect our election or anything, but it is not required. And it is, if they want to call themselves one of the leader of the opposition party. And the thing is, the Rahul has been consistent in his all false rhetoric, creating false narratives. All those things are done. And the basic point that I would also like to underline is the thing which Prime Minister has also been saying, that the Congress thought process or Congress ideology, whatever we call it, they have never accepted Prime Minister Modi as the Prime Minister of the country or the Congress. Also,
Right.
that
Right.
is the thing, and it is reflected in many of their statement or actions or.
So you believe that this continues to be a kind of very personalized problem with the Prime Minister. Let me actually bring in Mahima Singh of the Congress. Mahima, how do you respond to that? And I want to bring up the Congress meme today that Gopal Agarwal referred to, Panauti-e-Azam. Right? That this is what the Congress has tweeted today, doubling down on the word that it used for the Prime Minister. Now, in some sort of copywriting competition, the BJP and the Congress social media handles are clearly trying to out-pun each other. But to the BJP's point that every time you have personalized an attack on the Prime Minister, it's actually helped the Prime Minister, you would say what?
Jai Hind. I would begin by reminding the viewers of a meme that the BJP had projected, with Rahul ji having 10 heads, not long
Mhm.
before, not long ago.
Mhm.
It was very
Mhm.
recently. And
Yeah.
so the BJP's hurt is obvious when they taste their own medicine. The discourse, the political discourse that they are responsible for bringing so low that nobody can really escape it. When they taste their own medicine, it doesn't go down too well with them. They start crying out all the time on TV debates. They will say the opposition is having a stomach ache. They will call Sonia Gandhi ji Jersey cow and Rahul Gandhi ji, Prime Minister himself, saying that she is a Jersey cow and Rahul Gandhi ji is a hybrid bachra. So you see, they will say Congress ki Vidwa, Prime Minister himself. He will say Murkhon ka Sardar, as you rightly pointed out earlier in your foundation of the show. So when they hear something of the sort, when they see their own reflection, in the slightest of the forms, they absolutely begin to lose it.
But
And
are you
I
conceding? Are you conceding that the Congress is now borrowing quite
no
comfortably
no
from the BJP playbook?
I am going to raise a quintessential question here, Barkha, and that's, did we see any of this happening before 2014? The political discourse was at a certain level. But when Dr. Manmohan Singh was sitting in the Prime Minister's chair, need I remind the kind of addresses, the kind of salutations, the kind of remarks and names that were called out for him by the BJP and their troll army? And now today they cry that you are calling a sitting prime minister like this. Not only a sitting prime minister in Dr. Manmohan Singh ji was derogated and mocked at by the BJP, but a
Hmm.
former first prime minister of our country, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, one of their MLAs from Muzaffarnagar has called Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru Ayyash, and it is on record. Their MLAs and MPs go and felicitate and honor Nathuram Godse, Gandhi's killer, and they mock at Gandhi and Nehru and other prime ministers, Dr. Manmohan Singh, and our leaders, Sonia Gandhi ji, Rahul Gandhi ji, all the time. So
So
when you are
Mahima,
times like
Mahima,
these, there's an ecosystem. I'll just sum up. When there's an
yeah.
ecosystem like this, you are bound to somewhere. You see, one side cannot be expected to
I
stay.
get your I get your point, but I think what you're saying is the BJP does it, so do we. Now here's the BJP with a
Somebody needs
Murkho
to
ka
show the
Sardar.
mirror.
Hang on.
My
I'm
only
showing.
humble submission
I,
is
I
somebody needs to show them the mirror. We are
okay.
just showing them the
Can
mirror.
Meanwhile, from Murkho ka Sardar to Jhuto ka Sardar, the Congress and the BJP are going for each other on social media. Does any of this even count in political narrative building, or have people, the voter, learned to understand these as just inconsequential point scoring for social media armies? Before I come to Tavleen Singh, let me play out what the Prime Minister said just recently when he was talking about Rahul Gandhi.
मैं अक्सर कहता हूं कि कांग्रेस अब सातवें आसमान पर उड़ रही है, हवा में उड़ रही है, उसे जमीन पर गरीब दिखाई देते ही नहीं है और न ही वो जमीनी सच्चाई जानते हैं। मैंने सुना कल एक महाज्ञानी कांग्रेस के कह रहे थे कि भारत के पास, यहां के सब लोगों के पास मेड इन चाइना मोबाइल फोन होता है। एक महाज्ञानी कांग्रेस के कह रहे थे कि आप सबके पास मेड इन चाइना मोबाइल फोन होता है। अरे मूर्खों के सरदार, किस दुनिया में रहते हैं ये लोग? कांग्रेस के नेताओं को अपने देश की उपलब्धियां न देखने की मानसिक बीमारी हो गई है। पता नहीं विदेश के वो कौन से चश्मे पहने हैं कि उनको देश की स्थिति का पता ही नहीं दिखता है।
Okay, Tavleen, should we just laugh this whole thing off? Does an EC notice actually really even count for something? Or does this capture the heart of the matter, that at the end of this, no matter how local these elections might be, at the end of it, this is about Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi once again and their prospects?
It is, because he's the leader of the opposition, whether he's the leader of the opposition officially or not. We know that he's the main contender for the job. There are only two national parties at the moment. But I want to just point out that when you have important leaders, like the highest level of national leader, coming down to this level and talking like school children in a bad school, then what is the example you're setting? Whether it's these personal attacks, how many votes are you going to get? Rahul Gandhi has been going on about Adani and Chokidar Chor from 2014. What if they not learned yet? I mean, what if they learned? Okay,
so you think the Congress is making a mistake by taking personal swipes at the Prime Minister?
Of course they are. Don't you remember that the first time they did that was Maut Ka Saudagar? Sonia Gandhi called Modi Maut Ka Saudagar in 2007. And it was a tough election. And she helped him really win it. So, this kind of personal attack, for a start, now that he is the Prime Minister of India, the Prime Minister of India is an office. It's not just a person. So if, dead prime ministers are criticized, that's fair game. But when you criticize a prime minister who is still in office and call him, Panauti and, all that kind of thing, it doesn't help your case. And what are you offering? What do you have to offer by way of, trying to get people to vote for you? This is not going to bring you votes.
Can I also ask about the context in which that attack took place? India loses the World Cup final. The Prime Minister goes to the dressing room. Can we play actually those pictures? The Prime Minister goes to the dressing room. He meets with leaders there. A video is later released. The Modi's critics say, oh, he did this for the cameras. The players themselves issue statements saying thank you to the Prime Minister. Actually, any leader anywhere in the world would do this. But there's a huge debate over it suddenly. And Rahul Gandhi then says Panauti, implying that he was bad luck for the Indian team, and that's why the Indian team lost. The context itself, what did you make of that, Tavleen?
I think that the whole thing was really quite childish and really needless because, don't forget, the BJP has reminded them that when there was the Asian Games or something like that, in which India didn't do very well, Mrs. Gandhi, his grandmother, rode onto the playing field and took a little kind of victory lap with, a whole convoy of cars behind her. So, what is this? Is this what the Indian discourse, political discourse has come to? It shames not just them, it shames us all.
Madhavan, though the Congress would make the point, as it just did, that the BJP's done this and it's never been criticized in the same way, you would say what? Madhavan?
One is that we were counting all the Bab's accusations. In fact, I call this an MBA strategy, which is being adopted by both BJP and Congress, which is memes, barbs, and abuses. Okay, MBA.
Mhm.
Now, in this MBA kind of strategy, we can discuss from our old world charms and uh, values this being wrong. And I would agree with Tavleen and you on this. There's absolutely no doubt of that. But let us remember some of the abuses that weren't mentioned is the 50 crore ki girlfriend that Mr. Modi referred to when he was talking about
Mhm.
Sachi Tharoor. The important point to remember is that it doesn't matter what's going on. If one party matches the style and strategy of the other, it is par
Mhm.
for the course for either, while people like you and me might frown on the fallen standards. And Zahar ki kheti is what Sonia Gandhi once used. And, the problem is that BJP seems to take extra, sensitively things that it itself uses on the other side. See, there is
Mhm.
nothing sacred between Congress and BJP. The country and the media will see them as equally profane or sacred. So, but the
Mhm.
BJP people seem to think that Modi is Desh ka neta and not just Sarkar ka adhyaksh or pramukh. So there is this whole sentiment.
But Tavleen makes the point that there is a prime ministerial office that you have to respect, even if you disagree with
No,
Narendra Modi.
I do not think that we are slowly, as we progress as a democracy, for better or for worse, we seem to be assuming that the prime minister is not the country's leader. The people are the leaders who depute the prime minister. So the prime minister reports to the people is the implicit assumption. And if one party can do it, another party can do it.
Okay,
There is no
before I go to PKD
you know,
Nambiar, let me just get
let me just mention one thing in passing. There was a time when the president's office was viewed similarly, when Gyani Zail Singh was accused by many people, including BJP, of lowering the standards of the office. President used to be considered equivalent to the British Queen. I know there were all sorts of British baggage left in India, and this is part of that baggage. But if
So
you see
you
the
seem
way,
to be, yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying that every institution, no institution is a holy cow. The standards of have to be same for both the opposition and the government. Very briefly, Tavleen, since you made the point about the office of the prime minister, I want you to come in and then PKD Nambiar.
Well, I actually disagree with that because I think that, I mean, I think that in the campaign, in the heat of the campaign, that's fine. But the prime minister is the most important elected official in India. So when you attack Modi in that capacity as the prime minister of India, you're attacking the most important leader in India. And I think that that really doesn't help your case, it debases it. So, if I was advising Rahul Gandhi, I would tell him to avoid it. And also, it hasn't moved on. We're still going on. It's chowkidar chore to pickpocket. And as for Adani, I mean, do the people of India really care whether Adani is building the ports? They care what they can get from this election, whether their lives have improved. In the end, that's all that's going to matter.
Okay, before I take that back to Mahima, I want PKD Nambiar to come in. You're a brand consultant, you're an admirer of the prime minister, but Madhavan and Mahima make the point that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. The BJP can't be oversensitive when it comes to them, but unleash their troll armies on Rahul Gandhi, call him Pappu, but take objection when Narendra Modi, even as Prime Minister, is called Panauti. How do you react to that? It's meme for meme in the ruthless world of politics. Why is it wrong when it's said for the Prime Minister, but all right when it's said for Rahul Gandhi? Asks the Congress, Mr. Nambiar.
Well, first and foremost, there is no comparison between the two people we are talking about. One is the Prime Minister of India, who's been serving as a Prime Minister for the last 9.5 years. So, and the other person is been only an MP who even got defeated in the place where he was contesting. It's his family constituency and went to Wayanad. So there is no comparison. So there is no both the people are two different brands which has got its own value. One is a global brand, another one is even a confused brand.
But don't the same rules apply? Don't the same rules apply?
Absolutely. So I'll tell you one thing is very clear, that any kind of comments, even whether it is in a civilized world, should be hampering the brands. But the only thing which I wanted to tell you, that Mr. Modi is very powerful. When any attack on him, he waits for people to attack him, so that he can convert that in his favor. And Congress has not learned this even from the Chaiwala to all the Mautka Saudagar and all of those things have gone in the advantage of BJP. BJP has got the machinery to convert that into their advantage. BJP has got that kind of an audience, that kind of a setup to push those things. I think the bottom line is that is our elections are now becoming more and more tutu meme rather than just focusing on the topic. That will also go in the favor of ruling parties. So if you convert that into, we are not talking about the development, we are not talking about what is the vision you have for the particular state or for the country. I have never ever heard even once from Rahul Gandhi what is that the Congress vision for the country. Have you ever heard it? No. Have you ever heard only two lines they will say that one is they will go and abuse Prime Minister Modi. The second,
Right.
they will talk about there is an inflation which the data they will not be able to provide. They will say that there is a huge unemployment. They will again not be able to provide any of these things. Then why should I vote for you? If I ask Rahul Gandhi, why should I vote for you? Will he be able to give me a one sentence answer or any of the
Okay.
Congress persons
So
so far?
you believe that the Congress running a negative campaign is not helping. It will not help it. Forget the morality of it. Let me bring in
Absolutely.
Gopal. Let me bring in Gopalji. Gopalji, but do respond to what the Congress has said again and again, that when you see a reflection of your own rules, when I say your, I mean the BJP also has sort of propaganda machines. Every party does. When the BJP does it, why is it okay? When Rahul Gandhi does it, why is it wrong? Tavleen makes a separate point. She says it only helps the Prime Minister every time the Congress targets the Prime Minister personally. But on the level of public morality, why does it matter if Mr. Gandhi used the word Panauti for Prime Minister Modi? Why does it matter?
Barkha ji, we have to understand words may be different. Words may, I'm not talking only about the words, it is about the context also that is important. If you talk about Rafael and say Chaukidar Chor hai and give false narration on Rafael plane, it involves national security. You are hurting the national security agenda. Then, if you are talking about industrialist Adani Chor hai, Ambani Chor hai, without any concept, India is progressing because India is becoming an economic superpower. You are working against the narrative or global perception and India's interest. That's also very important. Now, the third point is when he's calling Panauti, the context when we lost the final after such a magnificent performance, and the Prime Minister giving solace to the players and going there. The thing is, the politics apart, the thing is the context where the issue is important, where they are talking, why you are talking, what is your intention. We are talking about the intention. I underline two things. One thing is the context in which these words are uttered, they are hurting Indian interest. They have to answer that. They may personally call whatever it. I agree with Tavleen Singh, but Congress may not agree. It's different their own way. Public will decide, and public has taken decision. Public is not accepting these kind of. Even our courts have said, Rahul Gandhi, you don't put our name into Chaukidar Chor statement. So the whole intention of Rahul Gandhi and Congress is bad, anti-national, hurting Indian interest, and at many times even surgical strike, etc. They are different, but
Okay.
his statements are being used by
Let
powers which are against Indian interest. The second point is the important again is what I have said my first time, that the Prime Minister has said, BJP has been saying the Congress mentality of family and their own superiority. These statements come from that they are not accepting the democratically elected Prime Minister. They have to answer this. Are they
okay.
accepting Prime Minister Modi as their own Prime Minister?
Let
Or
let 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 me put
this,
that to let me
no,
put that question.
let me put question. Are they are saying he is not our Prime Minister? He is a Prime Minister of BJP. Then it's completely they can do anything, whatever they want to do. People will decide. If
Okay.
they say he is our also prime minister, then they are abusing their own prime minister. What is their intention? These are the two questions. Otherwise, anybody can call anybody
Let
anything.
me put that question directly to Mahima. Do you accept that the prime minister is our prime minister after the elections are over? During a campaign, he's Narendra Modi. Once the elections are over, he's the prime minister of India. Do you accept that critical difference, Mahima? And then I want to actually play out something that Priyanka Gandhi said from the campaign. But go ahead and answer.
Other question, Barkha ji, एक और question था. The superiority of the Congress leadership, that they alone are the persons who can rule this country.
Are they
This
only here to ask questions?
Okay,
Or
let us
will
speak.
they also answer?
Yes,
Are
please
they
go ahead.
only
Please
being
go
the
ahead,
ruling
please.
party, forming the government, double engine, triple engine? Are they here only to keep questioning like an opposition? Have they become so habitual? It's become their
Okay,
second
ma'am.
nature. Or will they also
Ma'am.
care to answer? Before
Ma'am,
I come
please.
to that very critical question, which I will give a befitting answer to, I must point out two comments which were made earlier when Ms. Singh was talking about whether he is our prime minister, synonymous to what is the BJP spokesperson asking right now, the dignity of the PM office. I was reminded of, Ms. Smriti Irani offering bangles to the then sitting Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, and I have already indicated the manner in which the BJP treated the then Prime Minister and how they have been pointing to the first Prime Minister of the country. Does that not diminish the reputation of India worldwide? That is one.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, you see, on the 17th of November, Barkhaji, the Prime Minister himself made a remark. He said, "Button kamal par aise dabao कि तुम बटन यहाँ दबाओ और फांसी वहां लग जाए." A prime minister, inciting that kind of vengeance, I think is very unbecoming. Does that not hurt the prime minister's office? Because that office doesn't belong to Mr. Modi alone. That has a legacy to it, and that legacy is to be passed on to the successors that will take on. And you see, they often talk about Amethi. When Mr. Nambiar was talking about, about our honorable leader, and he said he's a confused brand. I think, being a supporter of a party which talks about Antyodaya, which is merely a lip service anyway, he's talking of a people's representative in that manner, a person who's been elected by a few of lakhs of people. Now coming to your question, just give me 15 more seconds. Coming to your question, you asked me, is he our PM? Very much we consider him to be our PM. So we keep asking him about Manipur. We keep asking him about jobs. We keep asking him about women's security. Nonetheless, the fact remains that there are no answers to be received, as I already said. Questioning has become their second nature in the past 70 years. And our vision, Mr. Nambiar, is everything that the BJP has only cared to sell off to their crony capitalist friends in the past 10 years. Our vision is to rebuild all of that. Our vision is Jan Ki Baat, not Man Ki Baat.
Okay, let me now just play out a clip of Priyanka Gandhi where she actually targets the Prime Minister for being sensitive about what is said about him. Listen in, and then I'll come to you, Tavleen.
और मोदी जी का तो आप पूछिए ही मत. मोदी जी का क्या कहना. देश के पहले ऐसे प्रधानमंत्री हैं जो परमानेंट अपनी ही पीड़ा में परेशान रहते हैं. कर्नाटका गए, बड़ी लंबी लिस्ट ले गए कि भाई मुझे इतनी गालियां दी हैं. यहाँ भी कहने लगे मुझे इतनी गालियां दी हैं. रोते ही रहते हैं. लगता है आपने वो सलमान खान की पिक्चर देखी है, तेरे नाम. उसमें सलमान खान शुरू से अंत तक रोते ही रहते हैं. मैं तो कहती हूँ मोदी जी के लिए भी पिक्चर बना देते हैं, उसका नाम रखेंगे मेरे नाम.
So, Tavleen, it's very interesting that the Prime Minister's success, at least initially, was as the outsider, was to be the person who was attacked in his mind by the liberal English media after 2002 and then throughout, never had acceptability in the phrase you made famous, Lutyens' Delhi. Priyanka Gandhi is now trying to turn that on its head and say he's playing the perennial victim. वो तो रोते ही रहते हैं. So this is a very interesting attempt to upend the narrative by the Congress that Modi has very cleverly for himself built politically. Is it working?
I don't think it is at all, because for a start, I agree with whoever said that the Gandhi family has never accepted that Modi has become prime minister. They still behave, and their attitude, their body language is that of entitled rulers of India. You know, this is my birthright. I have the right to be there. And how did this little man from Gujarat come and sit on the on my seat, right? So I don't think it works, because actually, you know, I mean, the things they picked up, there are plenty of things that they can criticize. There are plenty of shortcomings in Modi's, in his vision of India, for a start. But he has a vision for India. The other lot have yet to discover what it is that they're saying to people. No, give us back a chance after 75 years. It's now our chance again. Tell us what has changed. Their election campaign has not moved 5 inches since 2014. That time he was going on about Ambani ke jeb mein dal diya hai, itna 70 crore, etc. Ambani, poor old Anil Ambani was broke. I mean, he had no money in his pocket by the end.
But why is he poor old Anil Ambani?
But he hasn't. That money was not given to him, or he wouldn't have gone bankrupt, right? I'm saying to you that there's a kind of childish, there's name calling instead of investigation. If you have a case against Narendra Modi on the fact that he has links with what's it called, Ambani or Adani, you must lay that out before the people. Don't go, throwing charges around, because that doesn't work. Because you see, what has worked in Modi's favor, which is why he has won twice and could win a third Lok Sabha election, is he's managed to use welfareism and Hindutva as his vision for India. He's decided that the people will be given those basics that Congress failed to deliver: water, toilets, etc.
But do you accept that he himself has often used extremely acerbic phrases for the Congress party, and today takes objection to them? Not just he, but the BJP in general. That's the argument the Congress is making.
Well, the Congress is right about that. I don't think that the Prime Minister should come down to the level of using personal attacks as his in his election campaign. He has to be above it. He has to be above it.
Okay. Before Madhavan, Gopalji, you had a brief interjection. Madhavan, half a second. Gopalji, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to ask 3 things. Underline whether the answer is Congress or not, I don't know. One thing is, the Congress is doing this in response to BJP's statements. One thing. Second is it they really believe these things, or it's their political strategy? This clarifies this is an important point. Are they doing it in response? It's their political strategy, or they believe into these things.
So let me ask Mahima this. Are you doing this because BJP karti hai to hum kyun na kare? Or have you shifted a gear in your own idea of political discourse? Can we unmute Mahima Singh, please? Hang on, Mahima, we can't hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
As I said earlier, that it is showing a mirror to the BJP. It is making them taste their own medicine. It is also to point out, to the level to which the BJP has actually deteriorated our political discourse to. Because as I had already pointed out, before 2014, of course, the BJP was in the opposition, and it is their doing that they've brought the political discourse to such a low level.
But why do you want to be what you've criticized? Why do you want to be what you've criticized? Why do you want to be what you've criticized?
How do you show a mirror to somebody who's been going on doing wrong? Because
Gopalji was to respond. Yeah.
One thing,
Gopalji, very briefly, because the others are waiting. Gopalji.
Another point that I want to underline: since independence, all the Congress leader other than the Gandhi family were undermined, whether it was Baba Sahib Ambedkar, Sardar Patel, Subhash Chandra Bose.
No. It is us who made Baba Sahib Ambedkar the first prime minister of this country. Congress. Baba Saheb
the
Ambedkar had lost his election. It is
the
us.
history of the country will remember every action.
No,
It is the people who will decide.
no. Barkha ji
We
is putting
remember
out wrong
everything.
facts.
Okay.
It is us
Okay.
who made Dr.
Shaba-
Ambedkar
Okay.
the first Prime Minister of the
सावरकर को आपने क्या क्या नहीं कहा?
First, take
Ji.
your words back. We are the ones who made Dr. Ambedkar the first law minister of this country, in spite of him having lost
You
that
have met
election.
many
First, take
times,
your words back.
undermined them.
Apologize for putting out wrong facts here. Just
Sardar
like you keep doing
Patel
all the time.
undermining and glorifying only Gandhi Nehru family. The country has dealt with
Whoever has done wrong to the country
mentality
will have to
for
keep getting it
more
back
than
from
60
the
years.
Okay.
This country has
Okay.
dealt with
This-
this mentality,
can I-
which
can
is
I-
not
can I
acceptable
interject?
to the people of
Okay,
the
both of you have made your points strongly. Let the others speak. To Madhavan and then PKD. Madhavan, go ahead. Yes, Madhavan.
One thing, Barkha, that we've been discussing what is called the MBA, memes, barbs, and abuses. But on the ground level, from Karnataka elections, Congress has completely shifted gear. That's why it's doing well. One is what I call the GST strategy, which is the guarantee, subsidy, and temptation strategy. So at the ground level, talking about vision, Congress is focusing on the eyesight of the voter than the vision of the leader by offering temptations and subsidies and guarantees that make sense at the booth level. And if Karnataka is any indication, then this is a two-pronged strategy. Please remember, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka are only the faces of the party. There are very shrewd minds such like Digvijay Singh and Jairam Ramesh working behind the scenes. So there's a plan to this. There is now an IT cell that Congress has, which is matching the BJP. Now, the big question for me...
My question to you is, if the BJP and the Congress start seeming so similar, what distinguishes them?
Exactly. Now, the point is there is a distinction between progressivism and conservatism. BJP is a conservative party, right wing. Congress is a progressive party. Congress has shifted from what I call basic welfareism. We'll be discussing it on the day of the elections, hopefully, results, hopefully.
Yes.
Congress has shifted. The most untold story is that Congress has shifted from what I call basic welfareism to aspirational welfareism. And that is pinching the BJP somewhere. I can give you details. One stray example is how Rajasthan is promising English medium schools. Now, other thing is the big question I want to leave everyone with today, watching in, after 10 years, is there such a thing called Modi fatigue or repetitiveness that has set in beyond the Lutyens circle?
We don't know. We'll only know in 2024. What we do know, PKD Nambiar, is that these very states went to the opposition in 2018, and in a few months later, the national results were very different. So Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh were won by the Congress, and they were decimated 5 months later in the Lok Sabha. And so people vote quite differently in both elections. So I don't have the answer to Madhavan's question at this moment. But I think there's an interesting question here. If the Congress is borrowing from the BJP playbook, in terms of localizing elections, adding welfareism into the mix, adding Hindutva when needed. Look at Kamal Nath's campaign in Madhya Pradesh. How will voters distinguish between one party and the other? Then it will become a personality clash as opposed to an ideological clash. Or has that already happened? Mr. Nambiar.
Well, that is not the way in today's marketplace in the politics works. The people are, as you said very rightly, that people do understand who is a CM and what is he's going to do it for you, and who is your PM should be, and what is he going to give you. So I think welfareism has always been there. One of the biggest thing, Narendra Modi's biggest offer or biggest, I don't know how to put that word in word, is that he started reaching the money to direct brand transfer. Because of that, you and me are touched. May not be you and me, but then almost 80 crore Indians are touched by his welfareism in his bank account. What are you talking about? People want today the delivery. People cannot, all these dialogues which we are talking about and making it as a discourse, giving so much of an importance. I think we should not give any importance. Let them barb for a few days and that will go off. And they will Mahimaji will remember that only in the next election now.
But I think it's quite, would you say we are entering, just as last comments, let me throw out a question that I want all of your responses to. And I'll start with you, PKD. Are we entering a post-ideological phase in Indian elections? Are our elections becoming more presidential?
In the case of BJP, definitely no. It has got an RSS ideological background, which is maybe a section of the people who have been later entered in the party only from the point of view of power politics. They may not have that ideological background, but a large amount of the BJP cadre have the ideological background of Mahimaji was talking about the Antyodaya concept, or the Hindutva concept, or the Hinduism, or Sanatana Dharma, or the idea of India. So that is embedded in the mindset.
Okay.
No, one thing.
Sorry.
I just take 30 seconds.
Okay.
But think of the opposition politics is going. Just a couple of months back, we were talking about India Alliance, and so on and so forth. Now, five state elections are going on. Where is the opposition? Where is the India Alliance? Aam Aadmi Party is contesting against Congress. Samajwadi Party is contesting at this thing. I think let's talk politics in a practical way. This is only just Jumla right now is from the Congress side, not with a practical vision and offer. Just imagine somebody is talking about 50 lakh rupees of insurance. You as a journalist, I respect you for that so much that you go and meet the people. Ask the 25 lakh offers, the insurance guarantee scheme, which is come up with by the Ashok Gehlot. How many people are really benefited?
Okay, I'll put that to the Congress.
Who have got 25 lakhs? No.
I'll put that to the Congress in just a moment. Madhavan, you wanted to come in? Madhavan?
I just wanted to mention that some of these issues, India has become so geographically and demographically diverse that all people seem to be talking sense today, including the BJP. Let me concede that. But we have to look at the bigger picture of whether the vision and handouts, there is just as the Congress is matching barb for barb and meme for meme, BJP is matching handout for handout. And the Prime Minister's famous words about Muft ki revdiyan is not being practiced by the BJP at all. So let us be very clear that we can quibble. We have the media and the academia and the judiciary in this country precisely because political parties do not have an accurate way of assessing themselves when they speak to the public. So our job is to tell them what they are trying to hide.
So that's what I want. That's what I want to pick up, Mahima. That on welfareism, freebies, parties seem similar. On troll armies and social media management, parties seem similar. On now personality-centric campaigns, parties seem similar. What distinguishes you from the BJP today in one line?
I think while the BJP, they are the pioneers of hate speech, they are the pioneers of Muft ki Revdi, they are the pioneers of Jumlebazi in this country. It is the Congress which has worked on the vision, really political vision. And I would just cite one example here. Our manifesto in Rajasthan from the previous year is 95% met with, and the manifesto that has been prepared this year is based on a document called Vision 2030. Unlike, the Prime Minister who talks of 1,000 years ahead, we are talking of Vision 2030. 3.32 crore people, Barkha, have put in their suggestions in there. And based upon their suggestions, our manifesto has been prepared. While the BJP does Man Ki Baat, we do Jan Ki Baat. As simple as that.
Okay. Gopalji, last comments. Go ahead. Gopalji.
Barkha, you talked about ideology. About have we moved beyond ideology? I tell you, BJP is sticking to we are sticking to our ideology. We are against Tushtikar appeasement politics, and that is what we do, whether it is Triple Talaq, Ram Mandir, 370 or anything. Then we are against any appeasement politics. Minority has the first right over the resources. These kind of vote bank politics we are against, and we are standing with that ideology, one thing. Second important point, because I also look after economic affairs, is you talked about freebies and welfareism. I tell you, Congress has learned the art of crony socialism. In the name of socialism, there was leakages, corruption, benefiting, going to some certain limited class of people. In our 9.5 years, almost 29 lakh crore has gone to the people without any leakages. Even indirect tax collection, after reduction in GST and direct tax. Corporate tax also we have reduced, but still the direct tax and indirect tax collection, direct tax collection has rose by 26%. GST is crossed 1,80,000 crores a month. So this is what governance is. We are doing governance, delivery, transparency, corruption-free mechanism, globally, considering industrialists and business community as partners and in the national building. And for this, they call crony capitalism, and they are practicing crony socialism, which has hurt. India has lost important decades because of the Congress crony socialism.
Okay, that's a new phrase in our political lexicon now. I know, Mahima, you're disagreeing. One sentence, literally, one sentence. Mahima Singh, then I have to give Tavleen the last word.
You see, Rahul Gandhi ji has already made it public, 12 lakh crores of loans, excused away for the crony capitalist friends of the Prime Minister.
This is false narrative. This is completely false.
Why have you?
One at a time. One at a time. Can't follow it. Can't follow you. One at a time.
12 lakh crore is a false statement. No loan has been written off.
Unlike your.
Mahima, there's an EC. I just want to say there's also an election commission notice.
No, don't take a wrong because this not a single figure has been written off. It is provision is not right.
Okay, may I request both of you? Hang on. One minute. Let me speak for a second.
Unlike there, no data on.
Mahima, 1 minute. I'm just requesting you because it's not possible to follow what either of you are saying. I'm going to give 30 seconds to you, 30 seconds to Gopalji, and then Tavleen closes the debate because we are out of time. Mahima. Yeah. Now the point is that the Election Commission has said in response to the BJP complaint that the allegation that you just made, the grant of waivers for the past 9 years, the BJP says this is not borne out on facts. The Election Commission has said in a statement, Rahul Gandhi will be appearing before the EC on the 25th of November. So the figure you have just quoted is also the basis of the Election Commission notice. The poll panel prima facie says this figure is wrong. So I just want to fact check you there on that figure. Now 30 seconds to you and then 30 seconds to Gopalji. Yes.
One is that here's a government that they ask people to donate to PM Cares Fund. When it comes to data, they have no data. When we put out some data, they straight away say this is wrong data. They don't want
guys, how to follow this conversation like this, please. Mahima Singh, let me ask the questions. That will be easier. Now, your party has received an Election Commission notice on the figure that you have cited on the grant of waivers. Do you stand by that figure, or do you think you may have got that figure wrong?
No, just hold on. Before I was going to complete what I was saying, PM Cares Fund, no data available. And apart from that, you see, here's a Prime Minister. Here's a Prime Minister. I want to also bring focus.
Please answer the question.
No, just one line, because I was already raising my hand to say that.
All right. Tavleen, 1 second.
November, a statement comes out by the Prime Minister, button yahan dabao, phansi wahan lagegi. We move a complaint before the Election Commission. If anybody on the panel says what he said is correct and is becoming of a Prime Minister.
So you feel the EC is being biased?
I think the viewers should decide that. The facts are right in front.
Okay, now, Gopalji, your 30 seconds. Now, please, we have to move on. Gopalji, yeah.
Statement. I am a chartered accountant also, economics also. I was on the board of a bank also. A waiver is different, and making provision in the bank balance sheet is completely different, and corporate people will tell you this, not a single money has been written off. The liabilities stand to be recovered in the books of the banks. It is only the strengthening the balance sheet of this is the false narration, and this has to be punished because they are creating false narration. This is crony socialism.
Okay, Mahima and Gopalji, this will carry on. Tavleen, the last word to you. This will carry on endlessly. By the way, 25th November is just a few hours away. Mr. Gandhi will appear before the EC. Some of these questions will be asked. They can be rebutted there. Tavleen Singh, last word to you.
I wanted to answer the question that you asked. Are we in a post-ideological situation? The Congress party is. The BJP has a very clear ideology. They work on that ideology. You may not like that ideology. I may not like it, but they have an ideology. The Congress Party used to have an ideology. It stood for certain things, and it no longer does. And this is why it is suffering at the hustings.
Okay, we have to close here. The results of these elections will be out on the 3rd of December. Rahul Gandhi appears before the Election Commission on the same day that Rajasthan votes, and then we have only one of those 5 states left. The arguments will continue all the way up to 2024. But for now, thank you to Tavleen, to Gopal, Krishna, Agarwal, to Mahima Singh, to Madhavan, Narayanan, and to PKD Nambiar, and to the rest of you. Have a great evening and a great weekend. See you soon. Mojo Story has always made a commitment to its viewers to go to where the story is. And as you can see here, we are at the epicenter of the Israel war on Gaza. We are right at the front line, about 1 mile from the Gaza Strip, as the Israeli military gets ready with its tanks and its gunners to begin its final frontal assault that will take troops into Gaza. As we said, we are not like other organizations. We believe in giving you all sides of the story objectively and as much as possible from the ground. And that's exactly what we're doing here, covering the biggest global story today from the epicenter of the war zone. So please, we need your support. Support us, become a Mojo member, subscribe to us, spread the word, and thank you for your support.